Calendly is your scheduling automation platform for eliminating back and forth emails to find the perfect time and so much more. Let's get started using it. You have multiple options to get started. I will choose the sign up option with Google because I think it's personally most convenient. Okay, so I will see you on the other side once I signed in with Google. So once you've made it and once you allowed Calendly to use your calendar, in my case it's Google Calendar because I use the Google Suite for everything, you are prompted with this question on this landing page. It's step 1 of 2. So how do you plan on using Calendly? Right now, on my own. So I'm gonna click on continue. And now, what kind of work do I do? This is just a question where Calendly can figure out what type of people use their service. So let's use it for education purposes and click on continue. It doesn't really matter what answer and option you choose there. Okay, so we will close this get started with Calendly because we know exactly what we want to do. And let's also delete this sample right here because we want to create everything on our own. So now we start from a blank slate, which is perfect. This is exactly what we want to do. Okay, so let's get started first with all of these options in the top right corner. So profile, there we can change profile settings, pretty self-explanatory. Branding, here we can choose logos. For example, if we create a Calendly account for our, let's say, we create great flowers and share like images and book meetings and courses with other people and teach them how to do the like flower pots that we do, for example, then we can here use the logo of our flower business and it is shown across all our organization and all Calendly links and booking pages, but we will have a look on this in a moment. Then we have here a link. So this is the link that gets shared with other people. So if you share a link to your Calendly booking page, then this is the one they click on. So you essentially want to use this link and make it end in the name of your business. Now let's use your flower business. This is perfect. So you just enter your business name. It should ideally be the same name you use for your own website and also for your socials. So there is consistency and people recognize your brand. Next are the login preferences. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I logged in with a Google account. Here you have the cookie settings. Well, depends on your personal preference. I keep them all like activated. And right here we have calendar sync. So you can add multiple calendars. And this setting is definitely mandatory because, when people book on your booking page into a calendar, you need to connect a calendar to Calendly so they know where to book this meeting into your personal calendar. So this can either be a Google Calendar that you use for work or for personal use. It doesn't really matter. But I prefer overall Google products, so I'm fine with this option right now. But as you can see, you can add multiple calendar accounts. And here you can check configurations. So what should happen if you have a conflict in your calendar or if you want to rebook a meeting to another calendar. But I think it is pretty simple if you just use one calendar for your flower business because then you don't have to configure anything right here. Now we completed the account settings part, so all of this is done. We don't want to log out and we don't want to know what's new and apps and extensions. We simply want to focus on Calendly itself. Okay, so now we can create our first Calendly. Here we have multiple options. We can either create an event type, so a new template for our regularly scheduled events, a one-off meeting, invite someone to pick a time to meet with you, or a meeting poll, so schedule a group meeting after offering times for a vote. Let's go with the one-off meeting because it works pretty well. We want to do a new one-off meeting in which we can choose the duration, so even custom, and we can choose any day and time that fits us. So let's go with 10 o'clock for 30 minutes. Now we go next. So now we can choose or see first of all who created this one-off meeting. This was us. How long it takes, 30 minutes, and when it takes place. So on Friday, March 22, 2024. We can choose an event name, a location. So for example, Zoom. You can also connect something like Google Meet. There are many different options. This does not work yet because we need to integrate Zoom with Calendly. But as you can see, there are many different options. I will go maybe for an in-person meeting right now. Let's click on update. Let's go with a test location. And now we have optional settings. So the invitee language and reserved times. So if you click on this information, if enabled, Calendly won't offer your selected times to anyone else until this event is booked, and so on and so forth. So let's leave it as is and share this link. And now we have a Calendly link where we can invite other attendees to our one-off meeting. So this would be it for our Flower Business one-off meeting. So for example, we can pitch in this one-off meeting our service of teaching other people how to make the nice flower pots that we do. After that, we can use a so-called event type. An event type is a designated page, so a web page with a URL, where people can book in their one-on-one sessions or group, collective, and round-robin sessions, where we can teach them our service or our skill, essentially. So let's say we teach our flower pots in one-on-one sessions. It doesn't matter what you choose here, but we will go with one-on-one. Choose a host. Well, we are the host of our flower business, so let's leave that as is and click on next. This is a preview of your booking page that other people then will see after they click on the link. So we can choose an event name. Let's call it Flower Pot Workshop. And we can also color the event because flowers and that stuff is lively. Let's go with lime green. And now here we can choose the duration of the event. You can either choose a custom duration or one of the suggested ones. Let's go with 60 minutes. And again, we can choose a location. And here we can see all options. Well, it probably works best in an in-person meeting. So let's go with in-person meeting and let's call it our flower shop. Of course, here you want to put in the actual address and if necessary, additional information so people know where they have to go. Okay, let's click on continue. And this essentially is it for the basics. So now you already have this calendar link that you can share, but we can also customize these settings right here. So always think about how visitors will see you as your brand and as a company. In this case, this is the preview what users will see. It is pretty professional, minimalistic and sleek, and users will know what to do in an instant. This is the huge advantage of Calendly. So if we click here on the first button, we are in the event details. So we already customized these two options and the location, but now we can maybe, I don't know, use a description. So all of the needed tools are provided by me. Okay, save and close. So people now know they don't need to bring anything. Hosts and invitees, well, we already customized this feature when we created this event, but you could always change it up here. So if you don't want to use a one-on-one, but switch to a group event, for example, when we teach it to multiple people at a time live, then this would also work right here. Now the scheduling settings. This is a nice feature. Here you can choose how many days in advance, like this option on top right here suggests people can schedule these types of meetings into your calendar. You can choose if you wish to indefinitely into the future. So you see people will choose whenever they want to, or you can go with little as 7 days. So you know where to plan. So let's go with 7 calendar days into the future, which means people will all just see 7 days excluding weekends, but you can customize this to your liking. This is the date range settings. Okay, then available hours. You can use or choose available hours in your settings so they get automatically updated if your business hours change, but you can also customize them here on your own. So for example, if these are our settings, we could turn on that we are available on Saturday and Sunday as well. This would make these options blue so people could book as well. But let's say we still have a life and don't work every day in our flower pot, so we leave Saturday and Sunday for resting. And here, of course, you have the hours, so when you are working and when people can book. So they can book from 9 to 5 right now, which means if they click on one of the meetings, let's say next Monday, they get prompted with all of the available dates for booking. Right now, we need to adjust the setting potentially because we set it to 1 hour and these are 30-minute slots, and maybe you also want to use some buffer time, so maybe 10 minutes before and after each meeting so nothing collapses and you have time to dedicate to your visitor, that they feel welcome, and maybe you have a little bit of small talk before and after each meeting. So you can use buffer time, which condenses, of course, all of these events down to fewer events, but then they are probably of more quality. Okay. You can also set daily limits. So for example, I always want to cap at 3 events per day. So if we would save and close the setting, only 3 of these events could be booked on a daily basis. Okay, let's close the setting. And here you can have custom entries for people visiting your flower pot workshop. So you can use fields like add new question. How much experience do you have with flowers? Then you can customize the experience to the user. You can either mark this as a required field, so users have to answer your question, or you can leave it as is, so it's optional to answer this question. And here you can have answer types. Well, this answer is probably not a one-liner, so let's go with multiple lines and let's require this field, keep it on, done, and now it is added right when people choose a date and time in the calendar. So for example, we can test it on our live page anytime. If you make a change, so you save and close, now it is saved, and now you can go on your live page, preview your changes, and that works pretty nice. So before we go on the live page and conclude this short beginner tutorial, I want to show you how you can share the link. So up here, you can share the link of your business name and then of the individual created Calendly link. And then people can book with the settings you just customized, and you can customize anytime. And on the paid plan on Calendly, you can even add payment details up front. So people have to pay online before they attend, which makes it way easier for you to manage payments and collect payments, because you don't have people who book but then like don't visit, because then you have the free time but already received the money. So it's of course not great for both parties, but at least you got your money back and don't waste an hour waiting for someone just so that the person does not show up. So that can be pretty frustrating, and these are options on the paid plan. Okay, so this is the link you can copy. And now to end this off, let's have a look at our live page. Great, so we just customized our flower pot workshop, and this is our calendar where people can book 7 days in advance, excluded the weekdays, so only 5 days in total right now, but this will update automatically every single day. People can choose their time zones so that they know when you are actually available. And let's say we want to book on Tuesday, and on Tuesday we can choose the 4 p.m. option, and now we are prompted with also the field right now. How much experience do you have with flowers? Let's go with none, and we can fill in all of these details, and I will do that right now, and then I will show you how it works and looks in the calendar. So let's go with Mr. Flower, Mr. John Flower, and our email is johnflower@gmail.com. We don't have to share anything that we'll prepare for our meeting. We are we could replace this field with this one. This is mandatory, so how much experience do we have with flowers? None. Now we can click on this button and we have scheduled the event, and Calendly will manage everything else. So from email communications, the booking link to your client, but also the invitation in your own calendar gets synced automatically. So I will switch to Google Calendars and show you how it looks once this meeting is booked into my own calendar, which should have already happened. So as you can see, it worked like a charm. We have automatically created this calendar event in our calendar. So Mr. John Flower and Fabian Frank Werner for an event name called the Flower Pot Workshop. Here, the user can make changes to the event or cancel it or reschedule it. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching.